so much in the NFL, it's about plays that make a difference. You talk to Justin Houston's and Von Miller's edge pass rushers. From your experience, what is the impact of interior pressure on a quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, interior pressure on a quarterback, I mean, especially nowadays, is everything. It's obviously a passing league, and having that constant pressure coming up the middle, especially with bigger, taller guys, I guess, it shows that presence up front, and it forces quarterbacks to kind of, even if the guys aren't getting there, kind of put a little air under their ball a little bit more, or, you know what I mean, they can't really see through, through the middle in the throwing lanes and things like that. And also, I mean, it forces the quarterback to step back, which helps out your edge rushers, coming around the corner. And at the same time, it also helps, when the edge rushers are going, they're forcing the quarterback up the middle, right up into you. So, I mean, you're closing the pocket from the inside and the out. So it's very beneficial.
Just a quick follow-up. Again, quarterbacks love to step up, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Do you notice they get rattled, or, I mean, they start looking around when they can't do what they like to do?
Oh, definitely. I mean, you see quarterbacks get flustered when they aren't able to step up into the pocket, and they know that they have, especially when there are, really savvy defensive ends coming around the corner like Justin. And, it kind of, takes away, their confidence and where they want to throw the ball and things like that, and things start speeding up in their head, on timing-wise.
Thank you.
Phil B.
Hi, DeForest. Thank you for your time. This kind of two-parter, really, but I'm wondering if there's anything to having to adjust from the NFC to the AFC, and maybe more specifically, how much do you study guys you'll be lined up against when that starts, and how much do you study quarterbacks that maybe you haven't seen in a while?
Yeah, I don't think there's a difference between the AFC, NFC. I mean, it's all ball to me. You line up, you play. I mean, it's football. Everything's football. But I mean, constantly. Throughout the off season, I've been on the iPad watching some games from last year. Especially against division rivals. Games against Tennessee, Jacksonville, Houston, and things like that. And also, I mean, actually coming into this year, we play some of the same opponents I played last year. Pittsburgh, Baltimore, the Bengals, and Cleveland. And so, I have film, on myself going against those teams last year as well. So, it's just things that you constantly got to do on your downtime. Watching film and studying your opponent and also other quarterbacks. And I mean, coming from the NFC West. You got mobile quarterbacks like Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray. Who else? Mobile quarterbacks like those guys. Coming into this conference with guys like Deshaun Watson, who's also a really good mobile quarterback. I mean, coming into the same situation, I guess.
So you've already got the book on Lamar Jackson, then, right?
Huh. Yeah. Yeah, make sure you have a spy.
Thank you.
Joel Erickson.
DeForest, forgive me if I word this incorrectly, but do you ever feel like you're slept on a little bit, just in terms of what you've accomplished?
Yeah.
How much your name's talked about?
Yeah, man, that's been my entire career, though. Every year I come in and I play with a chip on my shoulder. You know what I mean? Even if the recognition doesn't come, I let my play, speak for itself. I put up the numbers over the past couple of years, and I do believe I'm slept on, and it's all good. I mean, it just fuels a fire for me. It keeps me on my toes. It keeps me motivated. To really get my name out there. Prove myself in this league, and honestly, it's only benefited me. So.
Ken Sterling.
Hey, DeForest, I apologize in advance. This is kind of an existential question. How difficult has it been for you to get where you are right now?
I mean, difficult wise, I mean, it's just I would say it's just the consistency. You know what I mean? Day in and day out, putting in the work. You know, with anything you do, I mean, it's going to be difficult to where you want to be. And for me, it was just making sure I put in that work every day. You know, when I come into work, you know, having the right attitude, and also, you know, just making sure I get something done. You know, something that you know, I need to get better. My mentality is I need to get better at, you know, little things, or whatever I choose to do, whatever it is, hand placement, you know, or you know, taking care of my body, just little things every day that I need to do to get to where I want to be. And having that mentality, you know, and staying on myself, you know, consistently, you know, reminding myself to make sure I do something that benefits me in the long run. You know, that's been the hardest part, you know what I mean? And being your strongest critic, and you know, having that mentality has helped me get to where I am today.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Walker.
Hey, DeForest, I remember you saying Justin Houston was a name that came up when you were talking to former teammates with the 49ers, and you knew you were coming to Indy. Obviously, you're yet to put the pads on. Have you gotten a good idea how he kind of operates on the field as a teammate? What were you told about him kind of coming in, and what have you learned about him? Because he just kind of seems like one of those quiet dudes off the field that is a completely different guy on the field.
Yeah, no. Obviously, last year, you know, with D, you know, he used to talk about Justin a lot because he's learned a lot from him, and you know, him being his, you know, kind of his mentor out there in KC, and you know, he just told me, you know, it's one of those guys that you gotta, you know, watch closely. You know, just the way he holds himself, you know, on and off the field, and the way he approaches the game. And you know, obviously, he's a great mentor, and he can teach guys, you know, little things. And also you can see it on the field, you know, just even when we're coming off to the side, you know what I mean? You know, just looking at, you know, he's showing everybody what he sees and, you know, what he's anticipating and little things like that, even in the meeting room when we're watching film. So I'm excited to be able to work with him, you know, this year and the years to come, because, you know, he's done it at a high level for a very long time. And, you know, he's just one of those guys you got to constantly pick their brain.
Kevin Bowen.
Hey, DeForest, thanks for the time. Obviously, I assume the team goal remains the same for you, but from an individual goal standpoint, are you an individual goal guy? And if so, what are some of those goals for you this season?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of have my, you know, my yearly goals. I mean, you know, as a D lineman, I mean, you're always striving to, you know, for the sack record. I mean, that's always I mean, if you play D line and that's not your goal, I mean, I don't know why you play D-line. And then also, I mean, first team All-Pro. I mean, I got second team last year. You know, I want to make it first team All-Pro. And also, obviously, I want to be a Pro Bowler. The last 2 years, you know, I made it in 18, but I made it as an alternate. And, you know, I want to be, you know, I want to be selected. So those are some, you know, personal goals of mine. And obviously, you know, for the team, I mean, I want to win the Super Bowl. Coming in, you know, I mean, being short last year, obviously left a bad taste in my mouth, and you know, to play at that, you know, in that game, obviously, not a lot of guys are able to make it to that game in their career. But also, when you get there, you got to make it count. And you know, I wasn't able to make it count last year, so you know, I feel like we have the team to do it, and you know, we just got to get it done.
Greg Doyle.
Hi, DeForest. So your first impressions of two players, please. First one, Darius Leonard. What's it like? You're in the locker room with the Maniac. What's that like?
Yeah, man. Darius is an awesome dude. You know what I mean? His personality, you know, his approach, you know, to the game. You know what I mean? He's having fun. You know what I mean? Every day, every time you come into the locker room, you know, early in the morning till when you leave. I mean, he's the same person. You know what I mean? He's energetic. You know, he's that energy that you need, you know, on a daily basis, and he brings it every day. And that's what I love about him. You know what I mean? He practices what he preaches. You know, he's just an awesome teammate all around. So I'm excited to be able to play with the Maniac on the field, man.
One more thing about him, and I got a follow-up, so don't take it from me, Conti. He's talked a lot about what he thinks you're going to do for him, you know, your presence and all that. And what's he going to do for you? Or what are you going to do for him? Or both?
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, I feel like it works hand in hand. You know what I mean? When you turn on the Colts film, I mean, especially, well, not from last year, but I mean, with me being in there and him in the backfield, I mean, in the secondary, I mean, it's going to be hard, especially scheming up runs and everything. I mean, how long does your guard want to hold on a double team against me? But you know what I mean? You have, Darius behind me, you know what I mean? He needs to get off of me to get to Darius because Darius is running like a madman, sideline to sideline. So it's going to be hard, for offenses to kind of game plan against, me up front and him on the back end, how long you want guys to hold up blocks against me or, vice versa. So it's going to be very, it's going to be very hard for guys to scheme up runs, little things like that. And also obviously, when we're bringing pressure, him coming, Kenny Moore from the nickel, and then we got the guys up front. So it's going to be very hard for teams to scheme up who they want to block.
And that was my next guy is Kenny Moore. He's kind of a terror,
Mm-hmm.
but he's about that big. So what's your first time you see him in person, what's that like? And what do you think of him?
Yeah, lightning in a bottle. That's what everybody calls him. And you know what I mean? You can just see on the field, even through walkthroughs, the way he, attacks on blitzes and everything when we're going through the walkthroughs and pressures and everything. It's kind of almost like a live rep for him. You know what I mean? And he wants to make sure it's right. So when it comes to game time and the bullets are flying, he's in the right position to win. And it's just amazing to see, I can tell, the chip that he plays on his shoulder being an undrafted guy. And honestly, I think it was, a great pickup, for the Colts, obviously, the past couple of years, having a nickel like him.
Okay, hey, say hi to Big George for me if you don't mind.
I will.
Okay.
We'll do 2 more questions, Stephen Holder and then Lara.
Hey, DeForest, how you doing? Excuse me, even before you got here, you hear the coaches, and I've heard Chris Ballard talk about the 3 technique and just how important it is in this particular scheme. It's important for everybody, but particularly the style of defense you play. What have you learned about the role of your position in this defense, and what kind of responsibility is that? Because they say it all starts with your position. Just can you fill us in on just why it's so important and what that responsibility is like?
Yeah, obviously in the run game, the 3 technique, you want a guy that can attack and get penetration up front. Kind of like set the edge from the 3 technique, to force, the running back to stop his feet. Also, taking on those double teams. And also, in the pass game, getting those one-on-one opportunities, you got to make them count. And so I just feel like I bring all those all those aspects to the game to, what you require in a 3 technique. I feel like I bring it, to this defense. And, that's what I've done the past couple of years with the Niners. And I feel like I'm stepping into the same role. And, that's what, made this trade so easy for me. You know what I mean? And I'm just excited to be able to be a part of it. And, I'm just glad that, it was just perfect timing to where, the team was looking for a guy, that stressed those needs from last year. So just being able to have the opportunity to be a part of this team and this young defense, I'm excited, man. It's crazy how much talent we have, on defense, but also in our defensive line room. And, being able to work with those guys is going to be very exciting this year.
Last question, Lara.
DeForest, I know it's still early. You guys haven't gotten up to necessarily full speed with things, but are you getting a sense, or what sense have you gotten at what these battles with the offensive line are going to look like, in particular without the preseason games, some of those matchups going head-to-head with guys like Quentin Nelson, and how beneficial that's going to be?
Yeah, it's gonna be very beneficial. For both sides. That it is like that. Anywhere you go, honestly. You want to go against the best, and obviously, we have the best O-line, in the league, and to be able to go against guys like Quinn, it's going to be a great opportunity for not only me but also the other guys, in the room, being able to go against the best every day. When you go to the game, it's going to be easy for you. And, I feel like it's vice versa. You know what I mean? Being able to give him, there's not a lot of guys that are like me. You know what I mean? Big, lanky, powerful, and can also show a little quickness. So it's going to be a mixture of things that I can give the offensive line, different looks at, and, to really approach, come to the – I hope I make their jobs easier come game day, vice versa. So it's going to be a lot of fun, being able to go against them all year. You know what I mean? It's, all you want to do, get better, and I feel like that's what we're going to do throughout the season.